these animals have real-life superhero abilities, from shooting boiling acid and annihilating any enemy, to immunity against bites from the deadliest of snakes. I've gathered 7 of the most insane pets you can legally own. Starting with the yellow-bellied toad. He might look like another ordinary toad, but believe me, he has a special ability that is absolutely insane. You see, when this little guy senses a predator approaching, he begins to put on an insanely weird performance, where he begins to bubble his skin like it's boiling, and eventually he'll flatten out, practically making him look like a toad pancake. But this is actually his superhero ability, because he's releasing his toxic poison glands to tell me not to eat him. Don't worry, bro, I wasn't planning on doing that anyways. Because instead, I'll be rating each and every superhero pet featured in the video out of 10, based on how much I'd want that superpower to help me survive. Starting with this guy. I mean, yeah, that superhero ability is pretty cool, but I'm not gonna lie, it's more for after the fact of you getting eaten. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to give it like a 4 out of 10. Which quite frankly is a pretty low rating. But believe me, if you thought that toad was even remotely cool, you're in for a treat. Because next up is a beetle with the strongest armor in the world. Like, no joke, look it up on Google. That's actually what pops up. This is the diabolical ironclad beetle, and it doesn't just get its diabolical name for no reason, because I mean, it's diabolical that they can survive forces up to 39,000 times their own body weight. All right guys, so let's just test it. I got him right underneath my car. 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. Nah, you guys actually thought I would run over my pet? I would never do that. Although on Google, if you do search it up, it says that my beetle would survive. I'm definitely not gonna risk that though. So that's why instead, I got this 25-pound weight. Dang bro, that's a bit heavy. But for a beetle with the strongest armor in the world, that shouldn't be a problem at all. So I started lowering the 25-pound weight directly onto the beetle. I left it there for a few seconds, and once I removed it, you can see this guy recovered pretty quickly with absolutely no damage done whatsoever. I think it's quite obvious why the military studies the ironclad beetle to develop better equipment for things like spacecrafts, body armor, and heat-resistant materials. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to give this superpower a 8 out of 10. Now remember, my goal is to find this superhero pet with the coolest superpower. So of course, they'll only get more and more mind-blowing from here. And at the end, I'll show you what it's like to have a super pet that can literally boil your skin. But for now, we have a snake with the craziest immunity in all the animal kingdom. This is the Florida king snake, and they're basically the king of the snake universe, because along with every other snake in the king snake family, they too have the insane superpower of being able to survive practically any venomous snake bite. And let's just say they even eat diamondback rattlesnakes for breakfast. I wish I was joking. So yeah, let's just go ahead and build this guy a new home. Hopefully that was a pretty clean transition, but yeah, let's just get you in the tank. And immediately after adding this guy, he went into hiding in his absolute baller home. I mean, it's got a water bowl where he can splash around in, a ton of hides so he can feel comfortable, and even a basking area where he can soak in the sun. This should be pretty good while he's just a baby. But let's not waste any more time on that, because now begs the question, what makes him so immune to those rattlesnake bites? Well, to answer that, let's first feed this guy. And well, since getting a feeder rattlesnake would be near impossible, instead what I'm gonna do is feed him a mouse and document his hunting. So without wasting a minute, I began to start the feeding process, and it didn't take long until he grabbed the mouse and started absolutely devouring it. Eating something like a rattlesnake wouldn't be much different for him either, because in their blood, they have loads of antivenom proteins that give them their insane immune superpower. With that being said, because Florida king snakes survive those venomous snake bites with ease, I'm going to give this superpower a definite 7 out of 10. But I'm hyped because next up is a pet fish I've always wanted to keep. Yeah, the enclosure you're looking at right now is designed for a fish. And I'm sure you're probably wondering why there's not much water. Well, that's because lurking in this tank is a mud skipper, one of the only fish in the world that can literally walk on land like a salamander. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if that really counts as a superpower, but I think it's such a baller ability that I just had to add it to the video. However, if I had to rate it as a superpower, I think I'd give it a 2 out of 10. But you might be thinking, Paxton, the super pet's gonna get any crazier from here. Well, believe me, you're wrong, because next up is a frog with a force field superpower. This is a tiger-legged monkey tree frog, and before I show you what makes it so unique compared to other tree frogs, I have to build an enclosure where he can show us. Of course, the first step is to add a drainage layer so that no mold will grow, and after patting it down, it's time to add a divider that will separate the dirt from the balls. Now, a thick layer of dirt needs to be laid to provide nutrients for the plants I'll add later, and then some sphagnum moss to keep everything extra moisty. Now we've got to build some structure to make this place resemble more of a forest. And lastly, I just added some plants to complete the enclosure. I think that the tank came out pretty sick, but the last thing we need to add to make sure that there's no mold in the enclosure is some springtails. Be free, boys. Before I add this monkey tree frog to the enclosure, let's just take a second to admire how insane he looks. Okay, that's enough. Welcome to your new home, buddy. And to show off the superhero ability of this frog, we just have to add this LED light. But unfortunately, after waiting for this frog to perform his superpower for what felt like an eternity, he never did it. Except for when I was building the tank, I was able to capture this. If you can't tell, this guy is producing his own sunscreen and spreading it all over his body to act as a force field against the sun. And in this BBC Earth footage, you can see this so much more clearly. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give this superhero ability a 3 out of 10 because I mean, producing sunscreen is cool, but it's not really gonna help you survive anything, so I mean. Anyways, we are now one pet away from our boiling acid shooting super pet. But first, we have the agility superpower. Yeah, agility. And who better for that than a literal jumping spider? This is Jerry, and if you saw the last video on my channel, you know that he's the cutest spider in the world. But now, I want to test his agility superpower. And guys, just to show you how insane this ability is, I got a cricket. So yeah, have fun, Jerry. Let's see how you do. After adding the cricket, Jerry didn't move much because instead he waited for the cricket to come to him. And when it did, he pounced on it and started eating it up. Nah, bro, everyone spam up W Jerry in the comments. That was actually crazy. All right, I'm thinking an ability like Jerry's would kind of be like Spider-Man, so I'm gonna have to give this one an 8 out of 10. Now it's officially time for the Bombardier Beetles, who shoot boiling acid. All right, guys, so we got our Bombardier Beetle trio right here, and I'm gonna build them their new home. So yeah, let's not waste any time and do exactly that. For this build, I'm starting with the dirt because I won't be adding any live plants this time. My goal is to make this build resemble the forest floor because that's where Bombardier Beetles thrive. So that's why I made my substrate look like this. And now to give my Bombardier Beetle a good place to hide, I added some dead leaves and some bark. But now to finish off the look, I added some little twigs. And now that we've officially finished our new enclosure, we can finally add our Bombardier Beetles. Let's do it. But real quick, I have this crazy goal of hitting 100,000 subs this year. So if you want to help me out by dropping a quick sub, that'd help a ton. Yeah guys, in this tank is Gregory, Bombaclaw, and Booty Dust. And I have to be extremely careful when putting them into the enclosure because they have one of the most dangerous spraying mechanisms on the planet. For instance, you can see this innocent little frog eat one, and then seconds later throw it up because it started spraying its acid. So I decided to just drop the Bombardier Beetles into the tank, and I'm not gonna lie, I think all the Bombardier Beetles have, well, hid, and I do not see any of them anymore, but I'm gonna have to give this superpower a 9 out of 10 because, well, you can basically survive anything with it. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. And also, check out the video on screen because YouTube thinks that you'll love it.